go! Oh, yeah. Jacoby Matthews, April Fools. We got the joke. Some of you are really fired up and perturbed by this. So, look, I don't want to just talk about that today because some really huge news just happened for the future of LSU football. Well, it should make you very happy, but we're not discussing it. Instead, we are so fired up about what one kid decided to do, and that was, of course, Jacoby Matthews, who released this video. Now, I'm not going to play the video because it is kind of silly. It said, I am 100% committed to, and then the screen went blank. So it was a video, and it started last night on Instagram when he said he was going to commit today at 3 p.m. Well, not only was everyone waiting, he released this at 3:14, and it is what it is. So, what does this mean for LSU? I don't think anyone in the know really thought Jacoby Matthews was going to commit. I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I figured it was because he is very interested in potentially going to Florida, Alabama, or wherever. He's a 5-star safety for a reason. First thing, don't tweet at recruits. Don't. They're teenagers. It's stupid to really take too much into any of it. It's just a joke. If he decides to come, great. 5 stars in Louisiana normally come to LSU, which we will get to in just a second. This doesn't take away from the fact that Jacoby Matthews is the most important recruit for LSU to get for the rest of the 2022 cycle. They do already have Walker Howard. They do already have Will Campbell, both 5-star commits, one at quarterback, one at offensive tackle, and Jacoby Matthews, probably the position that LSU needs the most in this next cycle is safety, and I don't think there is a close second. And I understand that sounds kind of weird because LSU is coming off their greatest safety class they've ever had, but the depth is so thin there right now that they really need to get some good safeties. Now, I understand there's Bryce Anderson, who's out there, who was once committed to LSU, then decommitted, and Durante Jones is after him. But Jacoby Matthews is target number 1. Don't freak out over this. Once again, these are just kids. And remember, LSU already has 11 commits, and this is super early in the 2022 cycle, and they have the number 2 nationally ranked class. So they are so far ahead of schedule that you shouldn't worry too much. Now, I will give you one player that you should look out for, and that is Emory Jones, a 4-star offensive guard at a Catholic high. You guys know how LSU feels about the offensive line. Now, there are higher-ranked players that LSU's currently after. Shaz Preston at wide receiver, Kendrick Law, an athlete out of Shreveport, Trevante Citizen, and the other running backs that are ranked ahead of Emory Jones, but Emory Jones plays a position that LSU desperately needs to hit, which is the offensive line. I think they have more than enough at skill positions already, including 3 wide receivers already committed in this cycle, and I do think LSU will end up getting 1 or 2 of those highly ranked running backs. There was some really positive news to take away from today, and we are not talking enough about it. It was announced today that Louisiana has 4 5-star prospects in the class of 2023. Let me repeat, 4 5-star prospects. Now, that is pretty insane. That ties them for the most that Louisiana's had since 2014. And if you look historically, Louisiana, when it comes to their 5-star prospects, LSU normally gets them. Now, Jacoby Matthews didn't commit today, but if he did, that would have made 17 of the last 25-star players, going back to 2011, that have committed to LSU. The 3 that didn't were Speedy Noel, Cam Robinson, and Landon Collins. So it's been a while that LSU did not get a 5-star from the state of Louisiana. And I understand Arch Manning, big deal, big whoop. I know a lot of you are really excited, and he is by far the highest ranked of the 5-star prospects in the state of Louisiana, and for good reason. You know, he's a Manning, he's a quarterback, he can flat out fling it at Isidore Newman High School. With that said, we will get to why this isn't as important as a lot of people are going to put it out to be. But you see here Shelton Sampson Jr., a 5-star wide receiver at Catholic High in Baton Rouge, Derek Williams, a 5-star safety out of Westgate, and Jaden Osbury in Baton Rouge at U High, who has a brother in the class of 2022 who is a 4-star that LSU currently offered. So you look at another guy, Tackett Curtis, who just got his LSU offer out of Manny, Louisiana. So what does this tell you? Well, before we get into Arch Manning, what this tells you is that the state of Louisiana could be even better when it comes to producing talent than they were in 2022. As we've mentioned in a few other videos, there are 18 4- or 5-star prospects total in the class of 2022. That is the second most outside of the year 2016, where there was over 20. So that means that the Louisiana talent pool is actually getting better than what it already was. And as many of you know, the dream school for 99.9% of kids in the state of Louisiana is, of course, LSU, which leads us to Arch Manning. Now, I understand Arch Manning, a lot of you don't believe he's going to go to LSU, but it's not an absolute must-get. Number one, no kid is a must-get recruit. They don't exist. No one player makes a program. It's collective recruiting. How many elite players can you get as a whole? And number two, LSU looks pretty set at quarterback. We don't know how long Max Johnson's going to play at LSU or TJ Finley. If either one of them win the job, then you still have Garrett Nussmeier. Then in the class of 2022, you already have a Louisiana 5-star in Walker Howard. But it's not just Walker Howard. It's the class of 2023 as a whole. You just saw the top 5 prospects, okay? The 4 5-stars and the kid out of Manny, Tackett, who I think will end up committing to LSU. But this is just the 247 rating of these prospects. And as you can see here, there are some really promising players here, most notably Eli Holstein, who, according to Rivals, is the number 1 rated dual quarterback prospect in the country. Now, for the class of 2023, it's always been done this way. There are pro-style quarterbacks and there are dual-threat quarterbacks. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean pro-style quarterbacks can't run or that dual-threat quarterbacks are all Michael Vicks. It's just a label. So, Eli Holstein, who is a very good quarterback out of Zachary High School in Louisiana, has been throwing the football to Chris Hilton, who is currently at LSU. Look, I like Eli Holstein a lot. He's not an Arch Manning level recruit, but that is the name that you got to really look out for. And I think he will end up committing to LSU. So if you don't get Arch Manning, there is another great quarterback in this class. And as you can see here, there's another safety in the class of 2023 in Kylan Jackson. So this is just a really good crop of talent. Wow, but you see, it doesn't just end with Eli Holstein. There's 2 other quarterbacks in the top 16 in the state of Louisiana. And once again, this is very early. So 17 kids having 247 profiles in total already in the state of Louisiana lets you know that there's so much talent. And once again, this is just Louisiana. This doesn't include kids that LSU is going to get from surrounding states. So, look, it's crazy. Reese Mooney, a quarterback out of Denham Springs, and Ricky Collins out of Woodlawn. Now, I'm a little bit more familiar with Collins because apparently some of his family and friends watch our channel. I believe it was his youth pastor that sent me a message not too long ago. And I would love Ricky Collins to be a part of the LSU class of 2023 or Reese Mooney or whoever. But this shows you that Louisiana is producing better quarterbacks. Walker Howard was the first 5-star quarterback, I believe, since Ryan Perilou. And to have 2 back-to-back years with 5-star quarterbacks and 4 total in the top 16, lets you know that this state is producing better signal callers, which is good overall. But looking at this 2023 crop, a lot of these ratings are going to go up once the composite scores grow for more prospects. So it is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Ooh, this video was fun today. Thank you guys so much. And I think we're doing a pizza. And here's the key to a pizza. You got to drizzle some Frank's Red Hot Buffalo with just a little bit of ranch. I'm telling you, do it. Do it.